Hello, today we are going to learn how to edit the source code of the integrated development environment KDevelop, how to rebuild it, how to run it, so how to program for the integrated development environment KDevelop. First of all, let's see how the application looks like. So this is the application. Let's open a project. Control V. CMake list.txt. It's a CMake project. The build directory is correct, the install directory is correct, the build configuration is correct. So basically KDevelop has taken all of the needed information from kdsrc-build. Okay. The CMake configure step is correct. We can now build and run the executable. Add kcalc, okay, and the application runs correctly. Let's see if the debugger works correctly. So projects, kcalc, kcalc.cpp. Where is the structure? I know, main. So this is the entry point of the executable, the C++ function int main argc argv. Let's put a breakpoint in here. Right click, toggle breakpoint, and start debug. Okay, so it stopped on the correct line, 2801. We have the call stack. We have the list of breakpoints. What else do we have? The shortcuts for debugging are step over F10, step into F11, she step and step out F12. So step F10, F10, F11. We're in the Qt framework. F12, F11. Back in the Qt framework, F12 to exit, and F11 to step into again. And now we're where I want it to be, which is in this static method, klocalized string set application domain. Let's see what this thing does. There's viewers for q byte array. F11, Qt F12, F11. This is Qt F10, and this is setting a field on the private statics. Do we go to now? Sure. F11. Okay, so the debugger works correctly, is a wrapper over GDB. The step over step into step out work correctly. I can start the debugger process. There's on mouse over documentation. So there's the class KAboutData, KAboutData.h from the correct directory. So navigate to the H file is possible. There's show uses. Let's see the uses of about data. So for the types and for the types, there's mouse over pop-ups with the documentation. Since I'm in the debugger, it will also show debug viewers and watchers for both methods and variables arguments. Okay, let's now see how we can build this project. So first of all, what KDevelop is. So KDevelop is the integrated development environment from the KD community. It does C, C++, and other programming languages. This is the homepage of all KD applications, apps.kd.org. This is what it says about KDevelop, category development, a screenshot. We have the KD Git repository, so the GitLab project for KDevelop. This is where you propose GitLab merge requests towards. There's a project website, so it has the kdevelop.org web page. Says that it also knows other programming languages such as Python, QML, JavaScript, and PHP. There's auto-completion pop-ups, documentation on mouse over, allows to open more than one KD Git repository, integrated Qt documentation viewer, plugins. Let's see what Wikipedia says about it. 1998, version 1.0 1999. Currently it's at version 5.12 and it's in the process of being ported from Qt Framework 5 to Qt Framework 6. That's why in order to build it, I need to use kdsrc-build for Qt 5. So let's build it. So kdsrc-build kdevelop in the directory where I installed kdsrc-build Qt 5. 50 Git repositories to git clone and build and install. So this is going to take a while. I'll pause a bit. So we have finished building KDevelop, the KD Git repository, using kdsrc-build Qt 5. Now we can run it. kdsrc-build KDevelop. It opens the previously opened projects and session. So this is the main menu item where there's the code navigation, source code navigation. There's outline with the current identifiers defined in this file, so classes, methods, free functions. There's also this navigate outline combo box. You can look at the documentation of more than one method or operator or constructor at the same time. There's uses where the symbol is defined in the .h file. Okay, so Control Alt and outline, or just click on the outline combo box. In the entry point C++ source code file, so kcalc.cpp, the most important translation unit in the kcalc kdgit repository. This is how the outline of the file looks like. And the only free function is the main function. We can go there. Control click on type names. Navigates. The navigation switch header source works. It uses clang tooling. It can navigate to some of the .h files. It cannot navigate to some. Qt framework files. .h files, include files. Okay, so we have built KDevelop from source. We have run KDevelop from source. We can prove that the source code changes that we did are still okay. Let's now open the KDevelop source code using another integrated development environment than KDevelop. Let's not develop for KDevelop inside KDevelop. So for that, I'm going to use Qt Creator. So my kdsrc minus build qt5 installation is in tilde/kd5 src kdevelop open file or project, Ctrl V, cmake list.txt, import existing build, replace src with build. cmake configure has been run correctly. Let's see if build works okay. Let's close KDevelop. 1998 C++ translation units to compile and link. This is the output of the PS3 command line. We can see that Qt Creator is running CMake, that's running Ninja, and that's running the C++ compiler, which in this case is G++. Okay, 800 translation units still to be built. While that's building, let's look a bit at the source code structure. So this is the git clone directory, ~kd5/src/kdevelop. There's a short readme. In order to build, we're not going to follow any instructions from the readme or from the KDevelop Git project or from the KDevelop homepage. We're just using kdsrc-build Qt5 and then instructing it to build KDevelop. That will make sure to install all of the binary package from my Linux operating system. So I'm on Kubuntu 23.10. A ton of deb packages need to be installed in order to build KDevelop, more than 2000 deb packages. And then in order to build KDevelop, it also built the latest version from Git master branch of 40 KD Git repositories, KD frameworks 5 and other libraries. And now we can build KDevelop locally because we have all of the needed deb packages installed. And then in the tilde/kd5/usr, we have all of the KD Git repositories that are needed in order for KDevelop to build and run installed. So all of the KD source code has been compiled to binaries, for instance, .so files into tilde/kd5/usr. Qt5 and other non-KD projects were just installed from deb files from Ubuntu and have been installed into /usr. Okay, there's a third-party directory. Reuse is about specifying each source code file in the Git repository, what its copyright is, who's the copyright holder, and what's the license. There's also support for non-Linux operating systems in here. There's support for the Microsoft Windows operating system. There's packaging formats, so up image, upstream, there's a long list of plugins, including the welcome page is a plugin that uses Qt QML. version control system, subversion, QML JavaScript, Qt framework help files, QMake manager, Perforce, the version control system, Octeta for binary X viewer, console for the embedded terminal, Git version control, GDB for a debugger, Flatpak for a Linux packaging format, Docker for Linux containers, KDevelop for building KDE software for Windows, Linux, macOS, Android, etc. CPP check static analyzer, CLazy static analyzer, CMake build system support, class browser, CLang tidy static analyzer, CLang tooling for auto-completion and code navigation, Bazaar distributed version control system, A-style for C++ source code formatting, translations. Okay, let's see if Qt Creator, the integrated development environment from the Qt framework, has managed to build correctly KDevelop, which is the integrated development environment from the KDE community. Says so. Let's see if it actually runs. Did I select? No, I did not select the correct executable to be run. Should be KDevelop, this guy. Let's close KDevelop. Let's run it. Let's see what it says. Did not find any plugins. So ne. Could not find the welcome page plugin. Let's configure Qt Creator correctly. Maybe that's the problem. So kd.org, get involved, development, integrated development environment, Qt Creator. So we need to, where are you? We need to make sure that we're using debug. So I have the configuration file for kdsrc-build qt 5 into the directory where I git clone kdsrc-build, which is tilde/kd5/src/kdsrc-build. Let's look at the configuration file. So should say cmake build type debug, which it does. This thing. Then I should build the project, in our case not kcal but KDevelop, which we did. Okay, now we need to see how KDSRC-build Qt5 is running KDevelop. Why, when we run KDevelop using KDSRC-run, KDevelop does not complain that it could not find its plugins. I can see the projects plugin. I can see the welcome window. How does KDSRC-run actually run KDevelop? It sources a bash script file first, so it exports some environment variables, and only then it runs KDevelop. So let's look at that directory. So it's tilde/kd5/build KDevelop, and the file is named prefix.sh, this file here. Okay, so I should take the contents of this file and convert it to this format. So that means export should disappear, replace all with nothing. Let's look at the configuration. So in run settings, this is run. I have selected KDevelop, environment, details. This is the use build environment. There's nothing to reset, batch edit. And in here we can see the syntax. So it says, if we want to set a variable, then we go variable equals value. If we want to append to a variable, then we go variable plus equals. If you want to prepend, so append is at the end and prepend is at the start, equals plus. Okay, so that means that we can, for instance, keep equality, and existing variables can be referenced in value with $sign and enclosed in curly brackets. So let's actually do that. LD library path is not needed. I'm not sure what this thing is, if it works. Let's just keep it like this. Okay, and curly brackets around the variables that already exist. Control V. So path to the path, we prepend the USR bin directory from tilde/kd5. There's xdg data dir xdg config dir, Qt plugin path, QML to import path, and Qt quick controls style path. Okay. We did the rest. Now we can try running it. So I needed to actually follow the instructions in the wiki page on how to configure Qt Creator, where it says how you convert this prefix.sh file to such a block. And this is what I did. So I started with this content of the prefix.sh file. I have, for this one, I have replaced all of the export space with nothing. I have deleted all of the empty and commented out lines. I have replaced all equals with equal plus. And then at the end of the environment variable, I have removed the reference to the existing environment variable. So I have removed this part, this part, this part, this part, this part, and this part. Because I'm using equals plus, which means take this string and place it and edit this environment variable, put this string at the start, and put the existing value of the environment variable after a colon. The end result looks like this. And then in Qt Creator, in switch to projects mode Ctrl+5, build and run. I need to select in this huge combo box with all of the CMake targets, the CMake target that builds the executable KDevelop. So this one, KDevelop. And then under environment, use build environment, batch edit, and then paste in here the block that I have edited in here. After that, I can actually run the application KDevelop, and the application does not complain much. It can find most of its plugins. It knows the previous session, the projects that are were loaded in the previous session. We can see the welcome page plugin. So KDevelop was compiled and runs correctly. Whereas KDSRC-build does git operations, so git clone or git fetch, git rebase. Then it runs CMake configure, then it runs Ninja, which builds, and then it runs Ninja install, which installs the files. So these steps look like this. In tilde/kd5/src/kdevelop, it's just the git clone. In here, you can look that it's just a clean git checkout. Local master branch points to the same git commit as the remote origin master branch. And this source code is then used in order to generate build files that are required by the Ninja build system. And those are generated in here in tilde/kd5/build/kdevelop. Then Ninja is being called in order to build all of these files in this directory. And the last step is installing, which takes the files from tilde/kd/build directory and puts them in tilde/kd/usr directory. So the executable is in bin KDevelop, this guy. And there's libraries, QML files put in tilde/kd5/usr/lib and in /share. But when we're building using Qt Creator, we're running just a subset of this. We're not doing any Git operations. We're running in exactly the same way cmake configure step, and then we're running the configure step. We're not running the install step. So that means that when we run with the debugger in Qt Creator, we're not actually running this executable, tilde/kd5/usr/bin/kdevelop, because the Ninja install step has not been run. We're in fact running this executable. tilde/kd5/build/kdevelop/bin/kdevelop. But for this, in order for this to run, we need to tell it where its plugins are installed and where its QML files are installed, etc. All of those will be taken from tilde/kd/usr directory from here. So probably the very correct way of making sure that when we in Qt Creator we start the application KDevelop, we're using the latest and freshest build source code is probably to not run this executable tilde/kd5/build/kdevelop/bin/kdevelop, but instead to run the executable that's installed into tilde/kd/5/usr, which is done like this. We don't choose the run configuration KDevelop, we go add. At the very end, there's custom executable, create, and then says path to the executable, which is this one. Ctrl-Alt-C, Ctrl-V. And now we need the build environment to be edited. The same batch edit, and we paste the same block. Let's see if running starts KDevelop correctly. It does. But now Qt Creator does not run the Ninja install step. So this means that every time you do a change in the source code, you will need to run a command line like this one. In order to do all of the steps. So run cmake configure if needed, probably not. Build, not rebuild the freshly changed source code, and then also install into tilde/kd5/usr the needed files. So all of the editing of source code you can do in Qt Creator. All of the building, installing, you do it from the command line, kdsrc-build, kdevelop, --no src, --no include dependencies, --debug. But then the actual debugging you can do again from Qt Creator. So this is the switch to edit mode, Ctrl 2. Show left sidebar, Alt 0. This is the CMake projects view. These are the plugins. Let's find the actual application KDevelop. It's under Up, KDevelop, source files main.cpp. And this is the main function, which is the C++ function. That's the entry point to the executable. Qt Quick software rendering. A good idea. If there's little QML source code that runs as part of the process KDevelop, then have that QML source code use software rendering, because software rendering has 0 bugs, although it may be a bit slower than the GPU accelerated, 3D accelerated, hardware accelerated QML, which is buggy because not all 3D GPU drivers, Linux drivers, are very good. And maybe you're in a virtual machine, maybe you're in a remote desktop connection protocol, or on some other remote setup where hardware acceleration doesn't work properly, or lags, or hangs the machine, or does interesting things. There's source code for macOS. I pressed F11, which went step into let's go step out, which is debug, shift, step out, shift F11. Debug E minus minus debug switch. Okay, so from here on, there's only C++ source code, Qt framework style source code, KDE style source code QML, C++ classes such as this one, KDevelop application, with this constructor, signals and slots, KDE frameworks version 5, private statics, Pimple, QString literal, QLatin 1 string, KDE internationalization. Wow, how many credits? Support for configuration files that were used during KDE 4 times. This is a KD Qt 5 application. It's in the process of being ported to Qt 6. Not there yet. This is the KD standard logging facility and Qt logging. Qt command line parser implements command line arguments such as ---- version, ---- authors, and these extra command line arguments that are specific to KDevelop. So ---- new session, ---- open session, ---- remove session, ---- pick session, etc. List sessions, fetch, project, debugger, debug. For now, the process KDevelop is still a command line process, not a graphical user interface one. PS debug open session. So if you give it if you call KDevelop with command line parameters, then maybe the process will do what's required of it to do, will finish without actually showing any graphical user interface window. Core initialize. It's loading 100 SO files. Debus. Load plugin welcome page. Single application support, such that you don't start KDevelop twice. And then this is the very last source code line, which is 841, which starts the graphical user interface main loop, the message pump, etc., and shows the graphical user interface applications, windows, etc. And here it is. I pressed F5, which means debug run. Now, although we are in the debugger is running, is not stopped. We can stop at any moment by pressing on the debug interrupt or this button or this button. Okay, at this moment, we can look at the threads view. There's a ton of threads, LLVM pipe. These are for graphical user interface software rendering. Probably for QML engines. And we also have the call stack. This thing. Okay, let's look at the source code files that are created using Qt Designer, so Qt widgets, GUI definition XML files with extension UI, or QML files. How do we find those? There's app templates, file templates, documentation, find widget UI. So the .ui files are XML files, look like these, and can be edited with this application Qt Designer. This is how the graphical user interface controls are being laid out. These are the rest of the widgets that can be dragged and dropped into the design area. And then if you select one control one widget in the design area, then you have access to its properties and its events, so signal slot editor. You can see the tree of Qt widgets. So the parent of QLine edit is the Q widget, which is the actual window. You can, for instance, change texts. Let's see how we do that. There's QWidget, QFrame, and QLabel. So QLabel inherits from QFrame, and QFrame inherits from QWidget. Hopefully. And then the text is set on the... So text is a probably a Qt property of the class QLabel. Translatable label text box. Let's see how that looks like in the source code. So the text is fine. So text. This is a help text for translators probably, and this is the actual text. We can edit it. Search. We can save. We can build. And it did not install anything. And that's a bug. At least one file has been changed, and that should have been copied, which is libkdev platform documentation.so. This is the file manager that I use, Crusader. I'm in the source directory where KDevelop has been git cloned. Ctrl S. I'm going to search for all of the UI files. And I'm going to look at some in a random order. Shell launch configuration dialog. Double click on it. All of these files should open with Qt Designer by default. Background preferences. So large part of the graphical user interface layout in KDevelop is actually .ui files. Meson advanced settings. Let's look for QML files. Control S, QML. Color picker plugins QML.js. Property widget picker. Hue, saturation, lightness. So these QML files are graphical user interface source code. They specify things like rectangles, a background timer, how it reacts when you move the mouse over it or when you click or when you drag and drop. A KD Plasma, which is the KD desktop applet, which is a widget. The welcome page, the entry point is a rectangle that loads files dynamically. Okay, so that's about all there is to know in order to program for the KDevelop KD communities integrated development environment for C, C++, Qt, QML, and other programming languages. This is how the KDevelop application looks like and works. This is how you edit the source code, you run it, you compile it, and then you run it, including inside of the debugger. You can navigate the source code, integrated development environment Qt Creator, using Control click, Control W. This is the outline view of the current file. This is the project's tool view. This is showing CMake targets, or it can show the file system layout. Thank you.